Shalom, all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. By Hashem Rachakodash. My name is Jacobo from Plaintables camp. And the Bach is the head of the camp. I'm second in command. And when this brother here was removed, or suspended, I should say, the removal came down later. I believe something else may have happened, and then the Bach, a message came around from the Bach down to me and the other elder brothers in the camp that he was removed permanently. And before he got removed, he had a council with us. He had the thing that was, he got locked up. Like the elder brother said, something domestic. And we had the council. Because he disappeared and he was locked up, but it was, the videos weren't being done. So that was a point of contention. And when we spoke to him, my assessment of him, when the name of the video is, because I'm a leader of a camp too, so taking this lesson to heart. Well, when I spoke to him, it was myself and I believe the Bach was there. It was the Bach, myself, maybe there was another brother there with the other brothers in the Pittsburgh camp. And he seemed, this is my opinion, it seemed like he was kind of like nonchalant about it, like he had everything together, everything's going to be smooth from this point on. That's what I was getting from. Now, I didn't believe him. I thought he was full of shit when, we were trying to get like what was actually wrong with him out of, like, what's the actual problem? Because the baby mama thing has nothing to do why you weren't doing videos. And there's other things going on in the camp that was going on in the camp. I'll just spare you the details, but it was very odd that he seemed very, I didn't feel any passion in his voice. He said he's going to, do what he was supposed to be doing. And there was still like a disconnection with him and other brothers in the camp. Again, I'll spare you the details. And I guess the order came down to remove him, but, he was initially, suspended. And they had a few problems. They had a few problems. And every camp has problems. And to this day, I don't know what the actual issue was with him specifically. Well, I got an idea based upon the council that we had. And again, I'll spare the details, but it never got healed. It never mended. Now, I don't think that's an excuse. That's not an excuse to not perform your duties, because there are issues with that you have in the camp. But apparently, whatever was going on with him was greater than his responsibilities, and he ended up falling out. Well, no, he was removed. He was removed. Now, I don't know the details of his removal, but in the council, we had mercy. We had mercy on the brother, but he did get suspended, and whatever happened after that, I just left it alone. I guess the Bach handed it up, and a few months later, I get a text message saying that he is no longer in the camp. So I don't know the details that happened after that, but I know he wasn't performing, and they were still having issues in the camp. All right, you can imagine what they were. So let's continue. Well, as a matter of fact, we didn't even start playing the video. I was just talking. All right.
he was already out. He was out of jail. So I got his new number. I called him. We had a conversation. I asked him what's going on with you. Why you ain't upload no videos? What's going on? You know, just out of concern, of course. And he told me that, you know, it was his fault. He acknowledged it. He said, you know, he was messing up. He said that it was his fault why he got locked up. Something to do with his baby mama. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to, you know, speculate and go all into it, you know. But something wound up happening. But he said he got to do better. He admitted it. He acknowledged it, you know. And then for a little bit after that, he started back with his uploads. Everything was back to normal, far as I knew. Another month or two goes by. I see he ain't put no videos up again, right? So then this time, I don't remember if I talked to the brothers from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I talked to the brothers from Pittsburgh again. And at that time, I learned that he had got suspended. You know, he had gotten suspended. And it might have been, it probably was longer than 2 months. It was a while after. I can't remember exactly how long. But anyway, the head of that region, you know, the brothers in the Pittsburgh camp and the head of that region had, you know, came under the attention. It came to their attention that the brother was not being diligent. He wasn't doing his videos.
Yeah, I believe he's talking about us. All right, so, which is starting with Debak, the elder brother Debak. And I think somebody from another camp may have actually told Debak. I forget exactly how it got back to us, but he wasn't doing videos. You know, I don't know if somebody in the camp in Pittsburgh contacted Debak, or someone else from another camp contacted Debak or contacted myself. I forget exactly. Go back a little bit. I just think 30 minutes. And we're going to just do a few more minutes and then shut it down.
I don't remember if I talked to the brothers from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I talked to the brothers from Pittsburgh again. And at that time, I learned that he had got suspended. You know, he had gotten suspended. And it might have been, it probably was longer than 2 months. It was a while after. I can't remember exactly how long. But anyway, the head of that region, you know, the brothers in the Pittsburgh camp and the head of that region had, you know, came under the attention. It came to their attention that the brother was not being diligent. He wasn't doing his videos. And then I was asking brothers, like, where is he? You know, I think he had, I don't even know if he was still in Pittsburgh or he was somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure on that. And he wasn't coming to camp. He wasn't doing his videos. And he wasn't locked up, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if he was really suspended at that time, but he got suspended. And it was told, I believe at that time, that the brother, he's supposed to have counsel with the regional and the brothers in the camp, and lo and behold, brothers called him on the phone. He ain't answering his phone, you know, and then when he did answer, he was giving a little, you know, just acting a little weird, not completely there, you know. Even brothers, I think the head of the camp now said he even went to his job one time. At some particular time, he had went to his job, tried to talk to him there. I don't really recall what happened, but anyway, when they tried to get a hold to him for counsel, he blew the counsel off. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to have counsel with brothers. They were supposed to inquire and ask him, what's going on with you, bro? Trying to give me and Mercy, you know, brother, what's going on? Is something happening? Can we help? And he just...
Yeah, I believe he's talking about Philly camp. Yeah, we set a council up, and I believe he blew it off. My memory's fading about that. He blew it off, and it was just the second and third and fourth, I believe, that we spoke to, if my memory serves me right. And forgive me if I'm getting the dates and times wrong. But yeah, I do remember only speaking to him one time. And yeah, he seemed like distant, like he kind of like just lacked passion. I didn't hear any like passion in his voice. Kind of like, well, he sounded like he ain't really give a shit. So that's my perception. And when I said, well, I ain't gonna tell you what I said, but he ain't really care, and that's what that was my perception. That and you know, we were prepared for, you know, him to continue in the same direction until he fell out the camp, you know, because I didn't think he was like serious anymore. Something happened, or he's going through something that's none of our business apparently, and I guess he got everything handled now. And this is scary because there's a few scriptures I can bring out, but the scripture that's permeating through my mind right now is 2 Timothy 2:10. Therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Mashiach Yahushai with eternal glory. Because it don't matter how you as an individual, how much scriptures you know, or how humble you talk, sound, or eloquent you sound. If you're not of the elect, man, you're going to lose the Holy Spirit eventually, and you're going to fall out. All right, and when that microchip comes, you're going to take it unless you delete yourself or leave. All right. I endure all things for the elect's sake. All right, so we got to give diligence to make our calling election sure. But we're not in control. We're not in control. It's up to the Father who ordained us to be of the elect or not. So it's just a warning to. Oh yeah, warning right there. Warning. Even camp leaders can lose the spirit. Yeah, it don't matter who you are. The power is not a respecter of persons. You are who you are, and we gotta live with it. So I hope I don't succumb to whatever he succumbed to.
Blew the council off, which means basically he ignored brothers' calls. So after that, it was decreed that he was kicked out. Now, if you go, and let's look up the phrase, before we even do that, let's look up this word, and Salaki for my rambling. This is, and as Apostle Gabar calls him, cautionary tale. This is for you brothers out. So you saw what happened with Maduro getting taken out of his country, brought to the United States. World War III could pop off any minute. Here you is falling out of the truth, Stop being.
Exactly. Two Russian oil tankers were seized by the United States, and Britain helped for the one near, I think, Greenland or Iceland. All right, it was one, I believe, in the Caribbean, and it was one up in near Britain, Greenland, Iceland area, and they both were seized. So now what they're going to start having military escorts, and then some kind of incident's going to happen, false flag, and then embassies start closing and businesses, and then it start get hot, So this could very well be the year 2026. This collapse. Trump could be such a bad president that he might get impeached, or he might lead us into the Third World War, and then somebody else come in even worse than DJ. But DJ, he's pretty bad, so he may be the guy, Orange Man. He may be that guy that because he's just breaking all these laws and attacking countries and stealing, kidnapping their leaders. This rate 2026. .com bust I'm hearing may happen. Certain AI companies aren't being profitable, so they might try to pull some scamming trick to get tax dollars out of the so-called American people or U.S. citizens. It's going to get bad. Hey, hopefully so. We can get out of here because getting the spiritual power and being elevated in a higher level is much better than going to work or taking whatever class you're taking or trying to get fit and get healthy, all that crap. Now we got to do it while we to maintain ourselves, but it'd be better not to do it. Like it says, it's better to be with Yahushai than to be here. But it's needful for us to be in the flesh because that's where we were ordained to be. Where we were ordained to be here, doing the work on earth.
Being diligent, but hey, you got to do what the Spirit of the Lord, tell you to do. Now, this brother here, he's one of the only brothers I ever met that was able to quit smoking cold turkey, right? Because, we always had those conversations, and we used to talk, and the brother said he had a dream, he had a vision. The Lord, when he first started learning about the truth, the Lord brought him into the truth and gave him a powerful vision where he saw, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I believe another brother in the camp, I think it might have been Debak. He quit. He quit. I don't know if it was cold turkey, I believe, because he told the story a little years ago that he quit. If I'm not mistaken, forgive me if I'm getting the dates or in a person wrong. Elder brother Debak, my camp leader, but I believe he quit. cold turkey or near turkey or near cold.
He said the whole ground was covered with fire. He was standing there, and it was like lava. I think he said it was closing in around him. He said it scared the shit out of him. He's like he seen the nuclear destruction on some level, and he said that made him quit smoking cold turkey. He said he just quit one day, and he ain't never go back to smoking. And I know the brother at one point used to be, in the street, as many of us were, and he was able to overcome all of that. So, Lord willing, he ain't go back into the street. I don't know currently where he is, what he's doing. I wasn't able to call him because once brothers get kicked out of GMS, we don't have no contact with him. So I didn't never contact him again. Like I said, I called him, talked to him. He told me what was going on. He said he was going to do better. For a while, he did do better, but then something happened. And I didn't never get a chance to talk to him and find out. So, Ariella, if you out there, if you see this video, you got to get it in gear, bro. I mean, Most High will destroy you if you don't get it together.
Yeah, so, and that's a true statement. But yeah, last time I spoke to him, and I don't know if Debak had another conversation with him at council, but yeah, it seemed like he wasn't there. It seemed that's my perception now. And they had issues that they didn't want to talk about, like in length. But then some things eventually came out. But I understand that's your camp leader. If he's effing up, then once, twice, third time, you gotta say something. You can't just keep it, a secret. Whatever's going on, just because he's your camp leader or your superior in the camp. All right. I'm gonna leave it there. I endure all things for the elect's sake because we don't know. We got a strong feeling though, but we don't know if we're of the elect.